This is Promethean software that's on a smart board, so if it all goes wrong, I can just blame the board that don't match the software. One question we came up with was how do you transpose formula? And very generally, okay, look, left in there for a reason, math teacher, look, 1, 2, 3, 3.
No, number one, don't tell your students
Right,
they're doing
unless,
it, but then you've got to give them the lesson outcome.
No. Unless
I agree, don't.
Unless Ofsted are in the room and they've just chosen this, our suggestion is don't tell them. Don't tell them what you're going to tell them, because straight away they go into exactly what you've all said. Oh, it's maths, it's transposition, I can't do it. So just don't tell them. Just don't tell them. Tell them you're going to do, which I'm going to do with you. We're going to do something completely different. Let them tell you how they do it, if they can do it. The BTEC EVIA gave us great praise that we didn't do transposition of formula as transposition of formula. We just referenced it to other parts. And so we purposely now teach science, the mechanical principles, the style of thing. So the next thing I'd like you to do is, what if it's going to work? Come on. I've left that in complete math speech. Can you tell the person beside you how to solve that, please? So you know if you're working a 3 and a 2, and just tell the person beside you how you work, please.
Oh, you can do that, John?
So, what do we need to do to get R on its own? We need to get rid of I. So what do we need to do to get rid of I from this side of the equation? We need to divide it. Right side by
and R is
that comes about by actually doing something.
It just drops out.
So I've got two sets of sweets here. So this sweet is twice as heavy as this sweet.
So that one sweet equals 2 sweets.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So now if I want to...
The students respond to it.
So you can rearrange
How do we transpose? There's going to be so much. You all mentioned these, I think. Okay, you all mentioned some of these. Okay, well, how do you say it? How do you say? On the other one it says transpose. Now we're talking about...
rearrange.
I think you said leave something on its own down here, and what do you want on its own? What do we get rid of? Because there's a way of, you can get rid of it, you can have it on its own. Change the side, change the sign. What's that? Why does that work? So to do that, if you can remember that, wow, you're laughing. But if you don't know how to do that, where does it come from? So you've got to do the full method where you do, to make that work, you've got to, I would have thought, show them. But there's 5 things there. You do a good job I didn't number them. 5 things on there. There you go. Forget the top one because we'll go straight to here. Level 3 says, tutors should consult the level 3. They must be able to do XL level 2. So if they come in at level 3 and they've got their 4 Cs or whatever so they've got to be able to do this bit. So as a college, we tried it last year and we'll do it again this year. For the first 6 to 7 weeks, all they'll do on level 3 is level 2. To try and just fill some gaps. Because when you're talking about level 3 stuff, and you're talking about mechanical principles at level 3, and you have to move stuff about, if they can't do that, then
all that.
yeah, you don't stand a chance, do you? So we will, again, we tried it last year and we will again teach level 2 maths in the first 6-ish weeks to make sure. And those that are in the room that can go, yeah, I can do it, then okay, it's revision for you. But for those guys, because it says you must. Going back to this is the problems we have. And I thought when we came here, in whenever it was, March time, that we were unique. I thought we had unique problems. Being in Finland, I thought we had a certain level of students. But it's no different to what they have in Cambridge, what they have in parts of Suffolk. Most students are the same. That is level 2. From the level 2 BTEC syllabus, it says they've got to be able to do how to find volumes. Okay, this is the sort of thing that they've got to be able to achieve. Why? The one thing you'll learn today, why reinvent the wheel when you can borrow it? What I would do is I would get the students to come and measure. It'll work on this board. I'll get them to come and measure. Okay, so I would have them up and we'll do a little bit of measurement in the class. And then once they've said it's 96 one way and it's spin round, again, okay, and the student will have a laugh, and we all sit there and giggle at each other, okay, like that, and we giggle, and then we'll measure it's about 80 something the other way, and we'll do a basic area, and that's all we'll do, basic area all the time, until they get it, until they can understand area, because some don't even understand two-dimensional area, and you're going to try and get them to 4 or 5 function moving around. So start very slowly, and we'll stick the calculator up on work, and we'll do the calculator, and somebody can come and do the bit on the board, and really trying to get people just moving around to try and not make a maths lesson very much like this. Look at me. But if my board don't work, I can't teach. Promethean. I'll find it in a minute. But if my board doesn't work, I can't teach. We'll just keep stretching it, and we'll make it smaller and bigger, and we'll do it until the whole class understands. Could be bricks, as how many bricks is in a metre, or whatever size you want to give them, floor tiles, carpet. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you can make it relevant, going back exactly to what you said. It's the only way. It's the only way I think that they will buy in. After we've played and we've had enough time where we all think it's funny to play with Lego and measure tiles, we can then start doing a little bit of transmission without them knowing. Because we tell them what the area is, and then we can either work out what the width or the length is, couldn't we? And so without them knowing, you've slowly slipped in a 3, or we're not using the triangle, but you've slowly slipped in we know 1, we know the answer, so we play a little bit of Jeopardy, what's the question?
Because I understand that. Actually, when I've done things like this, what I find quite helpful is asking the students what would they do. And someone says take away W. So you put up there and you write take away W, and you say you've got L lots of W, and you've taken away, so you've got L minus 1 lots of W.
On the board that I can write on, I normally do a bit of a who wants to be a millionaire question. But I've used this, and I know you don't like it, but I've even had to do this for some students, and they sat and wrote. If it's plus on one side, when you take it over to the other side, it becomes a minus, and if it's so however I can get them to do it, if it helps, that's what I do. But it's just trying to find whatever suits. I wouldn't reinvent the wheel. I have some handouts over there. If you want electronic copy, you can happily do so. But it's really whatever suits your area. Once you've got the front, okay, then you can add some depth to it, and you can start then taking them into a little bit more complex. Again, make it relevant. We've got some tanks, we've got a sink, we've got is that a septic tank? This sort of thing, this buckety thing with it. It's some buildery thing down the bottom. Okay, but try and make it. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's sort of relevant to them. But we did a very basic measurement. Again, going back to what you said, make it active. 134 millimetres across there, and we just did it. And I knew there was a litre in the bottom. So once you tip it in, it's going to work. Come on. There you go. Look.
Oh, the on button. That always helps, doesn't it?
You don't really have to think that the timer should spin round for a time, though. And there's me doing I did a little curtsy after that as well. But I would do this now in class, and if I spilled it, I spilled it. I don't know, it's a bit of water. And all that is food colouring. All that is a little bit of food colouring in water. So I knew there was exactly a litre in there. And so the question is, if I put a litre in, how high will it come? We did a cylinder. We did a cylinder after that. I think it was a flower vase, but I didn't realise it had a hole in the bottom. But that's the next video. But we would go on from that. So again, you could, the volume is a litre, because I obviously took the. Let me start again. Okay, and you can just get them to start doing some stuff what they've actually done. They've picked something up. They've picked my lunchbox up. They've measured it. My lunchbox got a taper on it. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Every lunchbox or every plastic tub you'll find is tapered like that. So the answer's going to be wrong. The answer's going to be wrong. So, but the good thing about it is, why is the answer wrong? And then they tell me why the answer's wrong. And then depending on how easy is it to talk about that with what are they measuring? Okay, we know there's a litre in there, a litre in there. So straight away we could do the first one and measure. Because if you're teaching maths to mechanical engineers, somebody in that office or in that department or in that faculty should be able to say a cylindrical thing will be a, and this is the thing, you're not going to find, and
That's
this
where
is
we
a,
need
this is
to
a,
talk to each other more, isn't it?
you can have whatever I've got,
Yeah.
okay, but I would get them now to sit and work out, we know the volume's 330 millilitres, that is on, that is easily found, that is on the internet, freely available, PowerPoint, all to do with a 330 millilitres Coke can, is on the internet. But at the end of the day, you've got to get them to this sort of thing. You've got to get them to complex shapes. Level 2 says they've got to do a complex shape. Level 3 says they've got to do a surface area and volume of 3 complex shapes. And we normally choose a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, the hemisphere I was looking at.
Cylindrical.
We normally choose a fire extinguisher, okay, because it's the easiest thing in the room, but ours has got a round funnel, but there you've got your frustrum, you've got your half a sphere, and you've got your cylinder. So you've got to get them from students that know perhaps potentially nothing into doing 3 complex shapes for level 3.